Who is Santa Muerte, and why is she revered by queer people from the United States to Panama? Welcome back to Yesterqueers. My name's Amanda, and I'm a public historian of queer history. If you've been here since the beginning, you know that I've discussed Santa Muerte before, but it seemed like a good time to revisit a figure who scholar Lorianne Lorenzen calls a saint of the dispossessed, enemy of the church and state. Both the U.S. and Mexican governments actively discourage the worship of Santa Muerte. American evangelicals call her followers a death cult, and the Vatican has labeled Santa Muerte a heretical narco-saint and her followers as Satanists, possibly the only thing on which American evangelicals and Catholics agree. And yet, veneration of Santa Muerte is one of the fastest growing religious movements in the Western Hemisphere. Santa Muerte, which means saint of death or holy death, is a Mexican folk saint. Unlike saints canonized by the Catholic Church, folk saints are of the people. They can be mythological figures or real historical figures who are venerated by a local community and are believed to possess the supernatural ability to receive prayers and perform miracles. It is that ability to answer prayers that separates a folk saint from a folk hero. Santa Muerte's origins are unclear, but it's likely that when Spanish colonizers brought Catholic religious iconography to Mexico, the indigenous people who already had and worshipped death gods understood the Grim Reaper to be a figure of veneration just like Jesus and the Virgin Mary. Inquisition documents from the late 1700s describe indigenous people petitioning figures of death for favors and justice. Santa Muerte's association with justice is why she is often depicted holding scales in addition to the Reaper's scythe. After that, Santa Muerte's supplicants went underground for almost 200 years. There is not another reference to them in the historical record until the 1940s, when she appears as the woman with the red candle, answering prayers for young women. Santa Muerte gained international recognition in 2001, when a woman named Donna Quita placed a shrine to the Bony Lady outside of her home in Mexico City to thank the saint for helping to get her son released from jail. Thousands of devotees now flock to this shrine on the first of every month to pray to Santa Muerte for guidance and protection. Santa Muerte's association with criminals and drug cartels has, unsurprisingly, been sensationalized, partly due to the very high-profile arrest of a Mexican serial killer in 1998 who had a shrine to Santa Muerte in his home. Certainly, Santa Muerte, as well as St. Jude and Jesus Malverde, are worshipped by violent and terrible people. El Chapo's legal team even famously brought a figurine of Malverde into their conference room while El Chapo was on trial in Brooklyn. But cartel members and other violent criminals make up only a fraction of the people who worship Santa Muerte and other so-called narco-saints. Santa Muerte is a saint for the ostracized and the marginalized, for the people who are fighting to survive on the fringes of society, for the people whose lives are dangerous. So criminals, sure, but also the working poor, single mothers, queer people, addicts, sex workers, taxi drivers, the unhoused. Santa Muerte is death personified, so she doesn't discriminate because death comes for us all. She will receive prayers from anyone as long as you ask respectfully and offer her some tequila or candy or maybe a cigarette. Santa Muerte is what's known as an amoral saint. Amoral, not immoral, which means she's not bound by the strictures of the Catholic Church, so you can ask her for any kind of miracle, whether it's a comeuppance for a deadbeat ex, a happy marriage to your soulmate, or an influx of cash for a gender-affirming surgery. Santa Muerte is revered by hundreds of thousands of queer people, especially trans women, because we are often the most vulnerable. One of her epithets is the saint of last resort, and many queer people come to Santa Muerte when they feel that they have nowhere else to turn. They find safety and comfort in a saint who will listen and protect, but never judge. That's it for today. As always, more information, including sources and further reading, is available in the usual place.